All right, so this might have to be its own separate video, this content that I'm about to talk about right now, which is for digital shooters. How many photos do you shoot in a session? Many times, for a very long time, I shoot hundreds of shots, right? I can step away from a 2-hour shoot that has maybe 3 looks in a studio setting without, sometimes you're outdoors and you're going to different locations, but I can do a 2-hour shoot indoors with 3 different looks. I could go anywhere between 400 and like 600 or even 900 images that I'll shoot in a 2-hour session with 3 looks. That's a lot. I did this for years, right? But I found that worked not only for me, but it was working for models that are not professional models, girls who wanted to give it a shot, girls who wanted to have a glamour session and just kind of feel beautiful for a couple of hours and then get some nice shots at the end. Those girls, they need 900 shots to really get there, in my opinion, because they're not just gonna off the hip right in the beginning, right?
What up? It's Brent Perez. Do I take during a shoot in order to feel comfortable enough that I have enough to work with in post? So it depends on a lot of things. Usually I work with less experienced models, so it will take more shots to find exactly what we're looking for, basically. So on like a regular shoot, I would say outdoors, probably like 300 to 600 shots, I would say. If I'm working with a more experienced model, that number decreases a little bit, because she knows her angles, I know what I'm looking for, the communication's there. After we shoot, go into post, I don't give a number to photos that I send out. So when I get back to edit, I go through all the photos one by one and I'll edit right there anything that I see that I like. And at the end, send them all, Maybe for some clients, I will put a limit on photos, but for the most part, if I take a good photo of you, you're gonna get the photo, That's it for me, Brent Perez. See y'all later. Peace.
I started to learn when I was working with my buddy Lee, and I'd watch him work. This guy and my brother too. My brother David, he's a photographer as well.
Hey, what's up, guys? My name is David. I'm with Pop Weddings. I just want to share a little bit today about how many shots I do in a typical photo shoot. We do weddings, we do engagements, we do family portraits, events. For the most part, I always say that it's when brides ask me or when customers ask me, I always average about 75 pictures per hour. That kind of gives everyone just an idea or an expectation. I'm going to share my screen with you real quick. This is Alice and Ryan. This was actually an engagement session that we did. It's usually about an hour. We don't time it or anything, but it's Florida. So with the heat, most, people are just going to kind of give up after an hour. You're just done. It's too hot. Hair gets frizzy. Makeup starts running. And that's more than enough time to get photos, right? So these shoot was actually 246 photos. It's maybe a little more than I would shoot on an engagement session, but if the bride and the groom are having a good time, if the couple is vibing and they're having fun and the lighting is good and everything is going good, then I usually will give them all the photos that I take. This was, my span was only 150 pictures, so not a lot, but you can see that even with 150 pictures, we got a ton, right? Now, time-wise, this was probably, I don't know, maybe 2 hours. They were probably gonna only use maybe 3 or 4 of these for our Christmas cards or for social media and stuff like that.
We're shooting indoors in a studio, headshots for a musician or a band, something like that. He's not taking more than 20 shots, and out of the 20, they're selecting 5 or 6. Lee does the same thing. Lee.
Hey guys, this is Lee from Stillwell Photo. The topic of conversation today was how many frames or shots do we shoot during a standard photo shoot session with our clients or our models within a 2-hour or 3-hour session. You know, in my early days I would shoot 300 shots, 400 shots, and I thought, you know, that wasn't enough. But that was a young mistake that I did, and I thought that made my life very difficult when it came to selecting images, and even for my clients. Today I shoot no more than 120 frames. That's a maybe. Maybe I'll shoot that much. It's a lot different now. I just find it much easier to just get the shots correct, get the right shot, and there's less pressure on my clients. There's less pressure for them to select images, and when it comes to culling images, it makes my life much easier.
If I'm doing a collaboration or I'm working with a girl who's modeled plenty, they don't want a big giant folder full of photos for them to choose from. Justin, the clothing designer, he doesn't want a folder with 150 pictures. He says pick the best ones. There can be 3 or there can be 10 or there can be 25. He doesn't care. He doesn't want to go through all of that. And that's cool, you know, that people give you the freedom to make those choices. But I've always been a people pleaser when it comes to my photography, and I want to make sure I capture what they want. So if I feel like they need it, I'll send them a few more so that they can choose. If I felt like they were going to be picky, then you want to show them a little bit more. Again, the objective is for them to be happy, to walk away with photos that they're going to be happy with and that they're going to spread the word.
At the end of the day, I end up with maybe 60 images to show my client, and sometimes I think that's too much, but that's just me. That's my preference. What is yours?
Hey Louis, thank you for making me part of this segment. Out of a photo session that I have to give my client 30 photographs, I can end up with 100, and out of those 150 photos are good, but the extra 20 can be similar. So that's something I consider a repetition. But for me, it's more of capture, and from there choose what it connect me in what I'm trying to portray.
A lot of times photographers don't even allow clients to pick their shots. I like to let them pick their shots. I'll send them anywhere between 40 and 50 images to choose from.
At the end, I believe that is the most important thing out of this experience is that the client and the photographer are happy with the results.
Remember, this is the first time we're meeting them, so it could be a little awkward. So the first kind of like 50, I don't know, 50, I would say maybe 20, 25 pictures is just breaking the ice. You know, they're a little bit awkward, so I'll kind of maybe just keep a couple of those. But you'll notice as the session starts getting, you know, more into like 60, 70, 80, 90 pictures, they start to loosen up a little bit, right?
First look is always going to be the lesser of the 3. You always want to make sure that the first, and sometimes you can tell them that, and sometimes you need to keep that to yourself as a photographer. In my case, I'll see what they want to wear, and out of the outfits that we decide, I always start with the lesser of the 3. And the reason I start with the lesser of the 3 is because it's going to take her a few minutes to get her groove. She's going to catch a groove. She's got to catch a vibe. She's got to listen to the directing. She's got to feel comfortable. You got to show her a few of the images before she gets there, right? So, but there definitely has to be a preparation. There has to be a time frame where you give them room to ease into it. Sometimes the first look is garbage and you don't have anything to take home from that. And sometimes there are, right? Sometimes there are some things you're able to save it towards the end. shot with Sophia, I don't know if this will be in Sophia's video, that third or fourth look, she was wearing an I Love New York t-shirt, and she had these really tall Chuck Taylor sneakers that were like all the way up to her knees. She looked great, but we'd already done 3 edgy looks. They were all very rock and roll. This was kind of like a skater kind of thing. And a white backdrop, there's really so many poses that you can do that's not repeated. And because we did 3 or 4 outfits using paper backdrops, granted they were different colors, it can get old really quickly for the model, especially if you're there for an hour and a half, knocking out these different looks, trying different poses. So it's going to get repetitive, and you want to wrap things up before they get repetitive. Hopefully this is insightful information. Continue to be kind to one another. Let's show each other love. God bless you guys. See you later.